Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, it looks like we finally have a resolution to the two Holland America cruise ships with sick passengers on board who also had passengers pass away on board, finally arriving in Fort Lauderdale and finally getting some medical attention that they need and getting people off the ship. And I have a whole bunch of thoughts on this whole situation. So first off, as you may know, that the Holland America Zaandam first came down with about 40 people, some crew members, some passengers who were feeling ill, and they were refused docking at basically every port from where they were. They finally got permission. They got some cruise ship. Rotterdam went out and met them. They got the people who were healthy at the time, moved over to the Rotterdam, so they were separated from the people who were ill. And now they had two cruise ships and they got permission from the Panama Canal to go through Panama and head to the US, as there are Australians on board, British citizens on board, and there are Americans on board. The majority of the people on board, as far as which nationality, is pretty evenly split. It's 300 and some American, 300 and some Australians, 200 and some Brits. So it's a pretty good chunk of equally split out there. And they were heading to Fort Lauderdale. And then the governor for Fort Lauderdale, Ron DeSantis, came out and said, we can't accept any more sick people in Fort Lauderdale or in Florida. It can't be the dumping ground of the cruise ships, and they can go someplace else. Also echoed by the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Dean Trentolas. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name. Also saying the exact same thing, and basically also quoted by the mayor of Miami, saying that cruise ships need to find alternative places. Fort Lauderdale cannot take any more people. We need all the medical things we have here for only Fort Lauderdale. And then negotiations started to happen. And the federal government was stepping in, saying we have to help these people. Remember, there are Americans on these cruise ships, as well as people have actually passed away from the virus on the cruise ship, waiting for medical attention. This is no longer, oh, some people aren't feeling well, they have flu-like symptoms. These are people passing away on the cruise ship. And we have government officials saying, go away, we don't want to help you. And that is so disturbing to me. But anyway, I'll get into that a little bit later. So yeah, negotiations went underway. The Carnival president stepped in and had a meeting with everybody, and they came up with a plan to get people off. And it looks like the people who were really in dire need now have been sent to hospital and have been set up with beds, and they are being looked after. The citizens are being flown to Canada, Australia, wherever they need to go. There was chartered planes, and they're now heading off, and their governments will now look after them when they arrive in their country. And was this not always the intention? I remember them coming out and saying, we thought they were just going to come here and release them into the population of Florida. We just thought they would get off the cruise ship and walk away. When was that ever the plan? The only time that was a plan is when you guys did it in Miami to the cruise ships there, where you just let them off with no testing whatsoever. The actual plan for a long time now is to always to test people, to isolate people, to send them back to their original countries. This was always the plan and the intention. So all their politicking and spouting and all this really started to annoy me. And I know, guys, I know I'm a Canadian. So, I'm miles away from this situation in Fort Lauderdale, but I'm there all the time. Fort Lauderdale and Florida and Miami are like a second home to me there. I cruise out of there 90% of my time when I cruise, and I cruise 13, 14 times a year out of there. So it feels like it's a home to me, and I feel very close to a lot of the people there. I know a ton of people in Florida, and I know when I talk to them that they're kind of disturbed by a lot of the things that are happening, and I just want to address that. I know things are really bad right now, and I know things are not looking any brighter in the near future. But what we have to remember, and a lot of people seem to be forgetting, you see all this arguments about cruise ships not, we can't help cruise ships, send them away, send them to Bahamas, we don't want them here. You're not sending away a piece of metal. You're sending away human beings. You're sending away people. And I think that's what a lot of people are forgetting. They always say, sorry, we can't help the cruise ship. But what you're actually saying is, we can't help the people on board. We will turn away people in need. We will turn away people needing medical attention. And in emergencies, sorry, it's an emergency situation. You're not an emergency. You can go someplace else. We don't care about you. And that is so disturbing to me. In fact, at one point it came out that the Florida governor actually said, well, tell you what, the people who live in Florida who are on that cruise ship, we will let them off. That, how do I word this? So you're no longer saying, let me get this straight. First off, you're saying most of you on that ship are not Americans, so we are not going to help you. The greatest country in the world, the land of the free, the people of the world who look up to when oppression is happening or wrong is being done. We look at the America as the place that is above all that. We look to America as the people who will do the right thing. The people who have morals and ethics and a constitution and will help people. And right away they said, well, they're not Americans, so we're not going to help them. And then they said, well, you know what? Okay, we'll help the Florida people on the cruise ship. So you're not even going to help Americans now. You're only going to help people live in your own state. That disgusts me. I hate to say it, but that absolutely disgusts me. You know what morals and ethics are? Morals and ethics are not something you do when everything is bright and shiny. Morals and ethics are not something you do when people are watching you. Your morals and ethics are doing the exact same thing whether anyone is watching you or you're alone. Morals and ethics are something that you do even when the chips are down. You either have morals and ethics or you don't. And a lot of people are showing their true colors right now. Not in my backyard. I don't care about anybody else. We don't want you here. You don't want people here. You don't want... What's going on right now? What is going on? We have the systems in place now to look after people. People aren't getting off and just wandering out now. They are being isolated. They are being tested. And yet we have people who are doing things like this. And I want to remind you, the Florida governor and the Florida Fort Lauderdale mayor, you guys are also one of the last people to say self-isolate in your state. You're one of the last people to shut down your state. You allowed the virus to continue in your state. Does spring break remind you of anything? Oh, that's a big money thing. Lots of money coming into our city and our state. So we better let that happen. And now tons of people across Florida and across the United States are now saying that they caught it from people there. And Florida is on the rise. But yeah, we don't want to help 800 people on a cruise ship. But we'll let 20 and 30 and 40 and 50,000 people party on the beaches. You see where I'm getting at? You put the hard line in, but you react really, really slowly. And now you make it sound like you want to protect the citizens of Florida, when we should be protecting the citizens of the world. And that includes everywhere. It should not matter where you live. It should not matter what ethnicity you are. It should not matter if you're rich or poor, male or female, young or old. We should be looking after everybody. It's called humanity. It's called morals, and it's called ethics. And a lot of people have forgotten that. And it's a shame. While I'm on that topic right now, you may notice I don't know if it's along the side or down along the bottom, but I have joined the World Health Organization and partnered with Google and YouTube. And this is by no means, I understand you're not working, things like this, you can't do it. Don't worry about it. I just wanted those of us who can to have the opportunity and an easy way to do something to help. So I've joined with the World Health Organization. Like I said, there's a little button on the side that says donate. If you want to donate to getting masks and ventilators to doctors and nurses on the front line, this is something that the World Health Organization is doing all over the world. And the government and Google and YouTube are going to match every dollar. So Google's matching $1 and YouTube is matching $1 for $2 for every dollar that gets donated. And remember, I completely understand if you can't do it, if you're not making any money, if you're worried about your job. I am not saying please do this because we need to do this and etc. Is if we can, throw $2 in, throw $5 in, throw whatever you can possibly do. Every little bit will help. And like I said, it's going to doctors, nurses, frontline personnel, and equipment. And I can't think of a more deserving cause right now, as those people are all putting their lives at risk, working 20, 30, 50 hours in a row to help us, especially those in places like New York and in Italy and places that have been just swamped with this thing that's going on. So if you can, great. If you can't, I perfectly understand. I just wanted to do whatever we can, whatever small part we can play. And I hope everyone out there stays safe. I want everyone to be able to cruise again in the future, and I hope all this resolves. But I also hope that we, in all of this, never ever lose sight of who we are and our humanity. And I think some of our officials all over the world absolutely need to learn that lesson. So I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, why not hit that thumbs up button? Why not hit the subscribe button? And who knows, if you think it's a message we're sending out there, maybe hit that little share button down, post it someplace, and maybe we can spread a little bit more humanity across the globe. And until next time, so please, everybody out there, stay safe, and whenever we can, have a great vacation.